Welcome to the Taxiway Podcast. I'm your lead ramp agent, Fabian. And this is the biggest milestone for podcasts, episode 10. And in this episode, we'll be going over the spring training battles for the A's, Aviators roster updates, World Baseball Classic updates, and announced promotions. So stay tuned as we hit the taxiway. All right, so first segment, spring training battles. The main battle here is for third base. And at the beginning of the spring, it started as a four-way race between Max Muncy, not the Dodgers Max Muncy, by the way, Darell Ernaiz, Andy Ibanez, and Brett Harris. But first off, Brett Harris, he ended up losing out on that battle and has been sent to the Aviators. And in spring, he slashed 190, 346, 238. So not the best spring. Then Darell Ernaiz isn't in spring training right now. And the coach for the A's said that that's a good thing because it made his job a little easier to evaluate more players. But in the meantime, Darell Ernaiz is representing Puerto Rico in the WBC. And he has a 308 average for Team Puerto Rico and had a clutch walk-off home run. So his success while representing his country is not going unnoticed by the A's. In fact, it probably adds to his credibility that he is the one who should be the starting third baseman. Then Andy Ibanez, he was claimed off waivers from the Dodgers in February, and he's been on fire this spring training, hitting 400. He's described as a super utility player because he plays first, second, third, and the outfielder. So basically, anywhere you want him, you can put him. And that kind of versatility is something that is always desired no matter what team you go to. Then we have Max Muncy, former Aviator. He has the most chance of being the everyday starter at third. But last season, he played second base at the start of the season before sliding over to third. His bat is not the main concern here. It's his defense. And it's not that his overall defense is bad. It's just he's a natural shortstop. So he feels more at home at short. He makes better plays, has better overall defense at short. But sliding over to third, it takes a little bit of getting used to. So in this transition period, I guess his defense slipped. So hopefully he's able to clean that up a little bit and be able to win that starting third base position. Now over to the bullpen. Now I think the bullpen battle is also interesting because I don't know if you remember this, but at the start of this podcast run, I forgot which episode specifically, but it was the episode talking about the minor league acquisitions through minor league contracts. There we go. So the A's had gotten a lot of pitchers on minor league contracts, and there's a few of those selections that actually are standing out in this bullpen battle. The standout to me is Nick Anderson and Wander Suero, who were both acquired in those minor league contracts. They are still battling for an open spot in the bullpen. However, in their way are Luis Medina, JT Ginn, and Jack Perkins. But Ginn and Perkins are more interested in making the starting rotation. And it's important to keep in mind that the A's may be forced to keep Medina on the opening day roster because he is out of minor league options. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the process of minor league options, once you hit a certain amount of service time in the major leagues, the major league club cannot just infinitely send you down, call you up, send you down, call you up, send you down, call you up. Like, once you have a certain amount of tenure, you're not able to do that with certain players. So I believe once you get to a certain tenure, you only have 3 minor league options. Correct me if I'm wrong. But once you exceed the 3rd option, then you get put on waivers, or you can be designated for assignment, right? Once you're designated for assignment, then you get put on waivers. And once you're on waivers, there's a certain time period where I don't know if there's a certain order, but another major league club can pick up your waiver and you can go to a different team. Now, if a major league club, let's say for Medina, the A's probably see him as an important asset. They don't want to let him go yet. So you don't want to lose this kind of player if you think that there's something desirable in him, and get him, stolen from somewhere else. So that's the game that they have to play. So maybe they want to try out how Medina is in the majors, and then if he doesn't work out, then they'll probably gamble to see if he can clear waivers, go back to the Aviators or wherever they need him to be, and then after working on some things and call him back. But every time that they call him back after that, if they want to send him down, they're gonna have to designate him for assignment again. He's gonna have to clear those waivers, and then the process continues. So that's where Medina is in the A's organization. But getting back to Nick Anderson has actually been pretty decent. In March, he pitched 3 1/3 innings, giving up 3 runs and 3 walks. Batters are only hitting .230 against him, which is pretty good. Then we have Wander Suero. So if Nick Anderson has been pretty good, he's been okay. Wander Suero has been lights out. In March, he pitched 4 1/3 innings, only allowing 1 run on 3 hits and 4 strikeouts. And batters are only hitting a microscopic 188. That bullpen piece, Suero is a closer. He has been a closer for most of his career. So with those kinds of numbers, if you already have a closer, actually that closer position might be vacant right now because the A's traded away Mason Miller last season to the Padres. So if you're looking to get another closer, this might be your best option, at least how it is right now. There might be somebody else in the A's bullpen that will take up that role, but if you want a decent setup guy or another high leverage arm, it looks like Wander Suero might be your man. So that's the bullpen, the spring training battles. And now we're going to get to the Aviators roster updates. So it has been confirmed on X by the Athletics that the following will be sent down to the Aviators. Some familiar names will be starting with the pitchers. Joey Estes, right-handed pitcher. Mason Barnett, also a righty. Brady Basso, lefty. Braden Nett, righty. And then this is going to be an interesting name, so bear with me. Chen Zhong-Ao, right-handed pitcher. Yeah, try to say that 5 times fast. Chen Zhong-Ao. Then we have in the infield, Brett Harris, as we mentioned previously. Then in the outfield, stunningly, Junior Perez. I was thinking that Junior Perez was going to make the opening day roster, but here he is. He got sent down. So he'll be starting the season with the Aviators. All right, so we're going to take a quick break here. I'm just to quickly ask you guys to subscribe and share this video if you're enjoying it. Only you can help me fulfill my goal in being one of the best podcasts for minor league baseball. All right, so now I just want to go over a little bit more background on these players, just so we know who we're dealing with, right, on the Aviators. And I think personally, that this is an upgrade to what we an upgrade to the roster to what we were expecting at the beginning of this year. So it was my way too early spring training prediction. So here we go. So for Joey Estes, he was on the Aviators last year, making 17 appearances, 15 as a starter, record of 4-4 and a 5.51 ERA. He ended up getting promoted to the A's in August 22nd, but then went down on the IL shortly after with a herniated disc in his lower back. Ouch. He came back on September 29th to the A's, and he made 3 appearances for them. And in those 3 appearances, he was 0-2 with a 9.82 ERA. Then going to Mason Barnett, he's also returning to the Aviators. Last season for the Aviators, Barnett made 23 starts and 2 appearances out of the bullpen. He was 6-2 with a 6.13 ERA, and he actually led the Aviators in strikeouts with 124. That was 3rd in the PCL. However, he struggled with giving up home runs. He was promoted to the A's, making 5 starts with a 1-1 record and a 6.85 ERA. And there too, he struggled giving up home runs. And that's actually a question that I had in my mind. It's like, how does a pitcher limit home runs? Now, the first ideas that I had were maybe need better command, maybe a better pitching selection. I guess really knowing the batter, knowing where not to throw something so that he doesn't absolutely nuke it. And I think better command might be the solution because Barnett also walked a lot of guys last year. So hopefully he can work on that down here in Vegas. Next we have Brady Basso. He spent most of 2025 on the IL due to a left strained shoulder, but was able to return to the A's before the end of the season. He made 11 appearances and starting 1 for the A's. And he had a 1-1 record with a 2.31 ERA. Last time he was in Vegas was in August, and he made 7 relief appearances with a 9 ERA. He struck out 11 in 9 innings. And here's an interesting fact. In his major league career, he has never given up an extra base hit to a lefty. So I can imagine who he likes pitching to in high leverage situations. Next up, we have Braden Nett. And to you Ace fans, you might want to keep tabs on this guy. Him, along with Leo DeVries, were acquired in the Mason Miller trade. For those of you who are late to the party, Mason Miller is an amazing closer. He's actually appeared for Team USA as a closer, and he is one of the best. So keep tabs on Leo DeVries and Mason Miller. Leo DeVries and Braden Nett. So Braden spent the entirety of last season in AA, going 6-7 with a 3.75 ERA and 24 starts between San Antonio and Midland. And San Antonio being the Padres organization and Midland being the A's organization. He was tied for 8th in strikeouts, and his ERA was the lowest among pitchers with 100+ innings pitched. That's pretty impressive. And even with the impressive number of strikeouts, his 9.88 strikeouts average was the lowest in his career. And so for a 9.88 strikeout average, that being low, so that only shows you the floor. We're at the floor right now. His lowest, his ceiling could probably be unimaginable. So if you want him, I can see why the A's wanted him that badly as a pitcher. And Braden Nett is currently rated as the number 6 prospect for the A's. So that's definitely a boost for the rotation. Next we have is Chen Zhong-Ao. He spent all of 2025 in AA Midland with a record of 6-11 with a 4.08 ERA. He led the Texas League in innings pitched with 145 and 2/3 and losses. He ranked second in strikeouts right behind Braden Nett and led the A's farm system in strikeouts last year. That's pretty good. He had a career-high 2.16 walks per 9 innings, but had the best strikeouts per walk ratio in the Texas League with 4.14. He tossed at least 4 innings pitched in every outing and pitched 6 or more innings 9 times. And, that was something that I had seen that the Aviators rotation last season lacked. A lot of times, the pitchers wouldn't last very long into games, maybe going, I would say at worst, maybe like 2 innings. I mean, you have the best, like there were these spot performances from a pitcher where they'll go 7 innings. But then again, even in Major League Baseball, that's pretty rare for people going 7 or 8 innings. But anyway, most games that I would watch, I don't know if I just had bad luck, but most games that I would watch, the pitcher would only go 4 or 5 innings. But to see that Chen or Zhang, like I'm telling you, this name, it's an interesting name. I like it. Chen Zhong-Ao Zhang. So him being able to go at least 6 or more innings for 9 times, like that's pretty impressive. And hopefully, we'll continue to see him being efficient with his pitches. However, he pitched for his country, Taiwan, in the World Baseball Classic, and he pitched against Czechia, going 2 2/3 innings and striking out 4. So that's a pretty good outing right there. Unfortunately, Taiwan or Chinese Taipei, however you want to call them, they got eliminated from the event. So he should be returning back to minor league camp. All right, so Brett Harris, he battled injuries last season. He got the injury bug. He began the 2025 season on the IL with a strained left oblique. And then with the Aviators, when he was sent down, he had 2 stints on the IL with a sprained left thumb and a right oblique. When playing with the Aviators, he hit .282 with 12 home runs and 39 RBI in 59 games. He had a career-high slugging, .515, and OPS, and he also had a career-best 6.71 plate appearances per strikeout. However, he struggled mightily with runners in scoring position with a .238 average. Next up, we have Junior Perez. And Perez has had a big spotlight on him. So even going into spring training, there were a lot of eyes on him, seeing what he could do against other minor league talent and major league players getting ready for opening day. He started last year with AA Midland, but was called up on August 1st. His totals for that year of 2025 were .231, 26 home runs, 87 RBI, and 27 stolen bags. And he was only one of 16 minor leaguers to pull that off. That being at least 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases. You're in your own class right there. Now I can see why there were a lot of eyes on him going into spring training. But here's where it gets interesting. He led the A's farm system in home runs, in walks, 87, extra base hits with 61, and 232 total bases. Now that's production. Now you can just picture it. Why the A's wanted to see what he could do in spring training. I mean, unfortunately, he kind of underperformed in spring training, but hopefully he can continue to get back to what he's good at. Hitting home runs, stealing bags, walking, having that good plate discipline. So it should be interesting to see how he starts off this season with the Aviators. All right, for the next segment, we have World Baseball Classic updates. Here are the final standings for the WBC. Over in Pool A, Team Canada topped the group with Puerto Rico coming in second. Then in Pool B, in a shocking turn of events, I never thought I would say this, Team Italy topped the group, with USA being a runner-up. And more on Team USA later. I have something to get off my chest, but we'll get there after we go over this. In Pool C, it was topped by Team Japan. No surprise there, with Korea being runner-up. But props to Australia. I really did think that Australia was going to make it to the quarterfinals. But with the wonky rules, the tiebreaker rules, they ended up losing out, and Korea took their place. Because they had a stronger team than last time, even though last time they did go to the quarterfinal. But it seemed like they were a well-rounded group, and I really did enjoy watching them. Now for Pool D, Dominican Republic topped the group with Venezuela as runner-up. And then here's the upcoming schedule for the WBC. For today, March 13th, Korea will be going against the Dominican Republic in Miami at 6:30 Eastern on FS2. And then it'll be USA versus Canada at 8 Eastern on Fox in Houston. Then tomorrow, March 14th, it'll be Puerto Rico versus Italy at 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1 in Houston. And then Venezuela versus Japan at 9 Eastern on Fox in Miami. All right, so let's talk about Team USA. So, for those of you who don't know, Mark DeRosa is the manager for Team USA. And, I was watching that game, and I thought it was interesting to see what kind of lineup he put on, and just the overall vibe of the team. So you had a lot of backups. You had, I believe it was Will Smith playing at catcher, but he's pretty great, so I don't really think that's like a backup, like a bad backup. Then you have past his prime, Paul Goldschmidt at first, and then he made some questionable bullpen decisions, like just leaving guys out to get shelled just to get work in, I guess. And just the overall vibe, it felt off. Like it just they felt like if this was just a formality, like this game didn't really matter. But that game against Italy was way more important than they thought. I can understand this attitude if you're going against Brazil or Great Britain. Like if this was toward the end of the pool stage and it was against Brazil or Great Britain, who was already eliminated, they were already eliminated, then I can understand taking a back seat. But I guess the story is that what I heard is that the manager, the coaching staff, everybody thought that Team USA, that they had already made it into the playoff. So they thought, okay, well, this game isn't really all that important. Let's just get the work in for these guys. And, we're going to prepare for the next game. You couldn't have gotten farther from the truth. That Team Italy had a 3-0 record, and you're going for qualification for the next stage. Team USA hadn't even qualified for the next stage yet. So not only do they lose to Italy, it was just incredible that they lost to Italy with all the talent that they have on that roster. They were horrible with runners in scoring position, which has been a constant theme throughout the pool stage. And then And so they lose to Italy. And then now I'm watching Italy versus Mexico, praying that Italy wins. If Mexico wins, at least not by 5 or more runs. Like this entire thing was a disaster. Imagine that. Team USA could have been grouped because of a slight miscalculation on the managerial team. I mean, I get it, mistakes happen, but I guess what gets to me is that the overall nonchalance to the whole event. Like a lot of these major leaguers, they just don't see the point in the WBC. They don't, which I don't understand why at this point. Like if it was 20 years ago and this thing was just getting started, not a lot of prestige, then I get it why major leaguers would be like, oh, well, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's like whatever. I can understand that. But when the ratings are off the charts, a lot of people are watching these games now. When I went to Great Britain versus USA, and there was a fair amount of number of people. It wasn't like there was a sparse amount of fans there. And then when you had Team USA versus Mexico, Daikin Park was practically sold out. It was sold out. So you can't say that nobody cares about these competitions. There's eyes on these competitions now. And for just like the general disinterest of major league players against this type of tournament is unthinkable. Like, why would you, like, it's unbearable to see like Team USA being humbled in baseball. Baseball, it's like if the dream team went out there and then they get steamrolled by some backwater country. I mean, Italy is no backwater country by any means. They actually have a really good team. I guess what frustrates me is that these major leaguers came in with the attitude that, oh yeah, we're gonna win anyway. It's whatever. And they took Team Italy too lightly, and you know they got punished for that. And so I guess it's just a little bit frustrating that baseball is becoming more of a global sport, and for us to think that we're too good to be in these global competitions is just something else. Like I really don't like that. And then on top of that, we have that situation with Tarek Skubal. He was one and done with Team USA. He only pitched that one game against Great Britain, only allowing 1 run, going several innings. Not a bad performance by any means, but I guess it's the reasons behind why he was one and done. He's a Scott Boras client. He's in a free agent year. So the results of this season has a lot of effect on what happens after this season, or during this season affects how much money he'll be getting, or how much he'll be getting in offers across the league. And so I guess he felt that the WBC isn't worth it to get injured and affect his chances of getting a high contract. Which, I mean, on the one hand, I do understand, you know, people want to get paid what they think they're worth. But, like, I was just talking about this with someone the other day. It's like, it'd be unthinkable. It'd be unthinkable if someone like Ronaldo or Messi, they were playing in the World Cup and then all they do is play one group game. And then they say, okay, all right, I'm out. I'm going back to my team. One and done. It'd be unthinkable. Why is it that it's unthinkable in soccer, but over here in baseball, it's like, oh yeah, I'm done. Just one and done. I don't want to participate anymore. It's like, yeah, he does the whole facade of, oh, it was a very tough decision, and you know, I was expecting it to be more like a spring training game, but it's actually a better environment, and it's crazy. It's like he's doing that on the outside, but I mean, we all know it's because of the money. Now, I'm not saying that it's directly like his decision. Maybe it might be Scott Boris's decision. But I guess the whole situation is just infuriating where you're signing up for Team USA. Like for me that's a commitment. It's like you want to be on the team for as long as the team needs you for that limited amount of time. Like it's only a couple weeks. And then if you're a pitcher, it's only a couple appearances. And then for him to just say, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm out." Like that just rubs me the wrong way. It's like it would have been better for Team USA to get a middle of the road starter who's fully committed than to get somebody who just wants to do one and done. And then now he's getting hate all online about his one and done. People, I read some comments were saying, I hope he doesn't get a trophy, get a ring if Team USA ends up winning the WBC. Just wishing him bad luck for the regular season, how he's un-American, unpatriotic. I mean, I wouldn't say it like that. I wouldn't go that far. I would just say that we all know it's for the money. We know. And, but, I was thinking, how would this tournament be better? I was thinking maybe you reduce the amount of regular season games. Maybe you take a longer break in the middle of the season just to allow time for competitions like this. And I was even thinking, what if we had something like the Champions League, like what soccer does? The champion of each country's league, they get into the Champions League, and then they face each other, and then whoever goes beyond that is the overall champion, the actual World Series, the actual global champion of baseball. Wouldn't that be something? WBC, but it's limited to the country's top teams. Like, oh, you have the Dodgers versus some team in Japan, Dodgers versus some team in Mexico. Now, I understand that maybe right now the competition isn't too good, so maybe it's like, oh, well, each winner from the division, their respective division, they get into this Champions League, right? Oh, you were the National League West champion, you were the National League East champion, and then you're going against, the Japan's equivalent to their divisions. I think that would be interesting. I think that would be an interesting idea. But what do you guys think? Just let me know in the comments what you would think about a baseball Champions League type of thing. And then if you have less games and you have a longer break in July, then you would be able to have time for this, like a World Baseball Classic or a Champions League, or you have like these type of Champions League games during the season. So you could be doing absolutely horrible as a division champion, I guess you could say, as a division champion, but then you absolutely dominate in your Champions League games, and then you end up becoming the world champion of baseball. I think that would be an interesting idea. All right, so for our last segment, here it's the promotions that the Aviators have announced for the first homestand. On March 27th, it's opening day. It's right around the corner. 27th is the opening day. There will be fireworks after the game. And then the following day, on the 28th, the Aviators will be giving away replica PCL championship rings. So for me personally, I'm going to be there on the 27th and the 28th just to watch some fireworks, hopefully get an interview. I'm really hoping I get an interview, and then getting that amazing championship ring. Then on March 31st, the Aviators will be their alternate identity, the Reyes de Plata. So if you guys don't know, the Aviators, every Tuesday at the beginning of the homestand, they'll be assuming their alternate identity, except for on road games. But on home games, if you go on a Tuesday, they'll be the Reyes de Plata. And so that's all I have for this week. And as always, please subscribe, please share for anybody who you think may enjoy the content, because I have a mission to be the best podcast covering the minor leagues, and only you can make that happen. So please share this video to anyone you believe would enjoy. And so I'm your lead ramp agent, Fabian, and this has been the Taxway Podcast. Farewell and Godspeed.